Hi, this is another comfy video. It's a mixture of SDXL and Flux this time. Flux has certain problems. One, it takes a while to do an iteration, and the other is we don't have really good control nets and other ways of fixing composition. So I've sort of done a hybrid here, and it's also covering how to style an image using Flux, and they're sort of intimately linked together in this, as you'll see. So I'll do my normal thing. I'll start at the beginning and we'll make an image, and you'll see how it works as we go along, and it'll either go wrong as we do it or it'll be wonderful, one of the two. So first thing is to we just want the SDXL bit, and this workflow, by the way, if you swap out all the Flux models with SDXL models, it'll work just as well with SDXL. So you can use it with either, really. Right, so I've turned off everything except for the front end. I have to check. Sometimes I get lots of red boxes because I've forgotten to turn off something. So everything here is turned off except for the SDXL. That was one I was doing previously. What we'll do a different one. So we'll put a different prompt in here, which isn't terribly interesting. So a very standard sort of fantasy prompt about a wizard, and we'll leave the LoRAs. I've got a few LoRAs running there just to give it a bit of style and quality, and we're prompting it out of an image. So we'll load an image in that we think might look interesting. I usually go for things that have a good tonal arrangement. So I actually collect images that I think have a nice tonal arrangement, and I'll just do that one randomly. Now the thing with this is, of course, the SDXL will generate in a few seconds, so we can generate from this image. I'll explain this bit briefly, though I have had it in previous workflows. All it does is blur the image a little bit here, not very much, and you can alter that if you want more exact. Then you reduce the blur, and then it adds some noise to it, and you can color it as well here. But you can colour both the noise and the image itself afterwards. So you can colour it as it goes in, and you can colour it as it goes out again. So we'll run this first one, and we'll see what an iteration looks like. There we go. So SDXL is very good at this, and it does it in a few seconds. So, and I'm trying for an illustration, but I don't want too much of an obvious medium yet, because I'm going to apply that later. So here, what you can do is click through some seeds till you see something you like. And another part of this flow is that I'm going to produce some variations that we can join together, and I'm going to use Flux to do that. We could use any of these, really. They're all pretty okay. And this is also doing something that SDXL finds very difficult, which is quite a small figure. Oh, he's quite nice. I'm not sure I like the border around the edge. Not sure why it's doing that. Is it in the... it's in the... fair enough, okay. We'll do a watercolor then, because the border won't matter for that. So that'll do as a start, and it's already quite illustration-y, but I'm going to probably move it away from illustration in Flux next, because one of the stages, I don't want it looking too much of an illustration to make the next stage work. All will become clear as we work through. The next module here is just to add a bit of light to it, because AI images are always flat lit. You know, there's never any gradation across them. So I use this just to add a little bit of tonal interest. You see the light glows here and it goes off dark. If you compare it to how it started off, you can see that it has more character and depth. And it's very easy to do this. It's very, very, very easy. You can save this module off as a template and jam it in any way you want at any stage. You can use it, later on in the process as well if you want. Okay, so we'll activate Flux. I have to, if I run the whole thing through, it rather overwhelms my car. And as I said before, you can change all this out for SDXL. This will work with SDXL as well. So this module here produces 4 variations. So it produces this variation, which is made by that, which I call the background, just because it's going to have all the other stuff on top of it. And then there's 3 variations produced here, which you can drop in on top of here. It might not be immediately clear, but it will all become clear as it happens. Okay, that's ready. It took a while longer. My video card doesn't approve of recording the screen at the same time. So what we have here is a set of variations. One, another one there. Quite like this tree-like column there. It's rather good, isn't it? And then by having different seeds and levels of denoise, I get a set of different variations. And then I can take, if we go down here, whatever we like from each one. So I don't like the tree. I don't like the trees through there very much. So I think we'll have that lady and these windows. So we'll have this section over here, and all you do, open the mask editor, we'll have her, we've got that. It's better to go up through the lines of, follow around the edges of things. Save that to node, we'll just watch that change, and as you see, that's dropped this bit into there. And then we can go up to the next layer, and again we can see where we are, so we can see that's what we are, the stage we are. And we might decide, this is all pretty random, we might decide, I rather prefer that door actually, that door's quite nice, isn't it? And I think I prefer these, I'm not quite sure whether I like the roots or not, I sort of half like them. So anyway, what we can have, we open this in Mask Editor, and you just paint over the bit you want to transfer really. I think I don't like the roots. I like the roots for a moment and then I stop liking them. There we go. That was good. And then we have this one. Is there anything I like on this? You don't have to. And if you want, say you think you haven't got enough variations. So what I could do is on this module, take the denoise up to 70, change that, and then we can redo this one. You can do this as many times as you want. And I think that was a bit too much of a change. But you get the idea. You can have something, you could have some of this. I quite like that window and that stuff there is quite nice. It's a bit different, isn't it? Should we have that just for fun? I do notice that I forgot to swap a prompt over, so our wizard has become a witch. Never mind. As this is going to be refined, the joins don't have to be good, because it'll make sense of it on the refine. There we go. Not what you call a perfect fit, but good enough. And then we can send this image on to be refined. My video card's a little happier now. I think it's unloaded SDXL. I probably should be I'm using the great big version of Flux, Dev 1. But maybe you'd want to use the FP8 version, but never mind. And this is just a very straightforward refine, and we'll run that. That's back. That's happier now. We're upscaling by 2 here with the model. So we've got a very simple, I use the most basic upscaler. I actually think it's better than all the other ones. The other ones will either sharpen or do horrible things to the image I don't like. So as you see, we have a refined version. I think there might be a dead octopus on the floor there. Never mind. And all is lovely. It's made sense of all our joins. Feels quite happy. So the problem I've hit with Flux is that if I start with the styling, say I want it to be a watercolor or an oil painting, Flux is so bad at that, and it doesn't make an image I can refine. So if I make the initial generation watercolory, the refine will unwatercolor it afterwards. So I've worked out a way of doing it where you put the style, it's not really style, put the medium, say watercolor, oils or colour pencils or pastels, and you do that after you've got this image and you're sort of vaguely happy with this image. I probably wouldn't be happy with this image, but for the purposes of this video, we will say I like that image. I don't like it, but we'll just say I do. So the next thing, this is just an image adjust. We'll run it quickly. For some styles, the image is better simplified. So this is a module, there's a simple version, then there's the all singing, all dancing, lots of detail version. So depending on what you intend to do, you can use either of these for the next stage. Right, we're moving on. The next stage is a little bit complicated, but I'll run through it slowly and you should get the gist of what's going on. Our original prompt is being piped across here. You see this? That's the original prompt from SDXL. And I'm combining it here, the two. So we have our SDXL prompt coming in there. We have a prompt here that is all about watercolor. You see that? That's the medium. And it's a very simple conditioning combine. It just puts them in a row so we get all of the words together. But it means I can swap over. You see, I have ones for, we don't need that one that I was doing something else. We have tried to do tapestry. That was a fail. So we have oil painting as well. I can just slot them in, whichever one I want. Now the styling is being done with LoRAs. These LoRAs were not operating on the first generations, so I didn't want these on the first generations. And these two, we have a watercolor LoRA running quite high. Might have a bit higher still, actually, 1.10 maybe. And so we have Eldritch watercolor, and we have a sort of papery one, Eldritch parchment. We have a fairly high denoise, though you can obviously play with that. Guidance, I'm going to have about 1.7, because that brings out painterly styles in that area. 1.4, 1.7, around that area. So we'll run that. I think I've explained everything there. Have I? Yes, I have. So these are the clean model, and so these are coming out. They're not coming out from here. So they're clean without the previous LoRAs. See these LoRAs here. This is Flux Dev. So these were the LoRAs that made the variations, and the clip and the head are cutting them out of the circuit because I don't want two lots of LoRAs operating on it. I just want this lot of LoRa going. So cue that. And there we go. That's back. And there we have a watercolor illustration. And you see how well the style. We're going to zoom in a bit. You see how well the style has taken. Which brings us to the next problem, is that, of course, the style in becoming lovely, you know, it's lovely in here with the architecture and everything. It's not so lovely on Our Lady. So we have to refine her. So that's what the last stage does. We'll chop her out. You want to chop her out with a decent bit of her surroundings. Because, I went wrong, decent with surroundings because that gives the sampler context. Without context, you can get unfortunate things happening elsewhere. And we'll do this 3 times. Actually, no, maybe we'll do it twice. We'll see what we get with twice. So we have a separate prompt. Here we go. I'd already done that, but this is just transferred across. But it's got the watercolor stuff in, if you see here. But we've cut out a lot of all the architecture stuff we don't need. So we've cut all that out, and that means the sampler will really focus on her. Not a very high denoise, but quite high steps. We've already done that many steps. Guidance again at 1.6, and we'll see how it is. You can play with the denoise and the guidance to get more or less painty feel. But what we don't want her photographic, but we want her painted but a little bit more resolved. There she is, and that's done a pretty good job. We'll do another seed. I quite like that though. We'll do another seed. And here you can seed pick, so you can do as many of her as you want. Now that's much better. So you see, we've still got a bit of a painty feel. Remember, this is quite a small figure, so we won't. Once it's going to be hard in size, so we probably won't be able to make out her. She's got a slightly quirky expression, but the hands are good. Everything is good about her, and as you see, it still looks painted. And in order to drop that in, what we do, I think I just want the hands, her head. I don't want. I might have a belt buckle. Well, no, I won't have a belt buckle. Actually. I might have her feet. And this is in Mask Editor again, so this will we'll come and zoom in here and watch it change. So there you go. So it's most of her is still the same. I've only defined the hands. We can define the hands a little bit more, I think. So I've got quite a big blur. See this here is making this blur, but I need a little bit more of the hands, maybe. Expand that a little bit. And then now she's got nice hands. And that's it. That's start to finish. And as you see, the paint style took much better when it was applied later. You can, if you want, I have got some LoRAs happening in here, so I'll run back through it again from start to finish, very quickly this time though, and pick out on a few things that I didn't. So what is happening here is that this here is supplying general composition. If you look, you can see that you see this area here, and the likenesses are, it's pretty much following this here, and here it is more in more detail. But if you want to follow it more, then you go down on the denoise. If you want it less, then you go up on the denoise. Here I'm using it as a very vague light and dark. If you lowered this, if you had a more specific guide, then you would lower the denoise here. We have two LoRAs running, but one of them is about what's in the picture. And really all your LoRAs here, one is just for general quality. This is the digital art one, which just gives a nice quality. I didn't want to photograph really. And this one works on the architecture. So what you're dealing with here is the content of what's in your picture and the composition. So you've got all the content in the prompt, and you've got the arrangement of stuff, and you can add, if you wanted to, you can add a control net here to really finely control locations of stuff, all of which works better in SDXL. And as I said, SDXL will churn out variations at a rate of knots, no problem at all. But then, from this, once we've lit it, the light module, you can make any of these modules. If you select those and right click, if you see here, save selected as a template, you can save any of these groups as a template and load them wherever you want. So the variations are the next thing. So you never very rarely get a picture in one, and this is a way of allowing you to pick and choose between variations and join the ones you like and do as many variations as you want, really. So here again we have LoRAs, and they're a little bit more to do with, one is medieval for the architecture and the other one is for mood. So we're doing a little bit of what we call style here, but we're not doing medium. So I've separated out the medium, whether it's an oil painting or a drawing or whatever. I'm separating that out and applying that separately. So we've got the basic stuff here, the mood and feel is being produced here, and the first bit of refinement. So we're building our composition from these variations. You can make more of these. I don't find you need to, because you can keep on clicking through these, and the whole lot won't run. Each one will rerun separately, and you can make as variations like the big lady. You can have big ladies in there if you want, just by clicking through seeds, and you get variations which you can put on top of your background. I would probably normally click through seeds here until I got a background I liked most of. I just did it randomly here. And then we upscale and refine that, and that's all running on the same prompt. If you see, the prompt is piped across, so it's running on the same conditioning. So there's your conditioning going in to this stage, and then the conditioning runs across there. This module here, if I'm making it, say, a graphic thing, I can process this image so it's very contrasty. Or I should demonstrate that quickly, actually, because that's quite important. Turn off a few things down here. Maybe we'll demonstrate that. We'll turn it into an oil painting or something. So with this, I don't think I've changed anything back there. I hope not. So here, I can change, say, the contrast. To see, made it very contrasty. I can take out the colour. That's this one here. The colour is still being dropped into this one. But as you see, this one's gone completely black and white and very contrasty. And I can push that even further. Maybe even actually go down on the... There you go. And that might be suitable for making into a comic strip image, maybe. So we won't have it quite as bright as that, or as contrasting. There we go. So if we take this one, I think we are working off this one anyway, are we? No, we're not. Okay, so we'll work off this one. That one here? Yeah, we are working off that one. That's fine. And we might put in, instead of that, we put in a drawing LoRA. Let's just put ink punk in. It's a basic one. We'll leave parchment. We'll just leave ink punk in there at quite a high level. We'll change the medium into a comic strip. So we've made it, and what we'll do, we'll put that in instead of the watercolor. And everything else stays the same. This prompt is still being piped across, but it has no style stuff in it, so that's not going to affect the style. So all our style stuff is coming in here into conditioning too. And now we have comic strippy LoRAs, and we should get a more comic strippy thing. A few things we have to do. We have to go up on the conditioning because we don't want it all blurry. Denoise is probably okay. Let's just see what happens. And there's that back, and as you see, we've got quite a different result. It's done her in colour only. I rather like that though. That's rather good. And then again, very easy to refine her. I would imagine this will be a few seeds we need to check out. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh, I think she'll do. Do for this anyway. She should go in fine. There she is. Ha! That makes her much nicer. I think there's like something dead on the floor there. I don't know what that is. But anyway, you get the idea. We apply the style at the end of the process, not from the beginning, which I think with Flux works pretty well. But I think this will work with SDXL fine as well. You just need to swap out the samplers and so forth, and you can use it with SDXL. It holds that quicker than SDXL, and I think that's the end. My gaming card, my video card is not happy. It doesn't like to record the screen at the same time it's doing massive processing with Flux Dev. Okay, I hope that was interesting and useful. I'll post a version of this workflow with lots of notes on it, which explains the various processes by stages. Okay, thanks for your attention. That's the lot.